Well, greetings, Carl.
Hello, Michael Kitces. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It is summer season. As we're recording this, we'll be heading into the fall by the time this comes out, but
Crazy.
very much enjoying the slow summer season, the slow conference season. As much as I do enjoy hanging out at conferences and getting to talk to a lot of folks all day long, I am kind of excited about the fact that I have not been to an airport for 4 weeks, and I will not be to an airport for another 4 weeks. And then I'll
Wow.
be ping ponging all over the country in September, October, November as we get into the fall conference season.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
enjoying
So
it right now.
nice. So nice.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to be at conferences. It's good every now and then to have a little bit of time out at conferences.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I think there's a conference here this Friday that I'm speaking at in Utah. So I don't have to even go to an airport. It's gonna be so fun. I'm gonna just drive
See,
down there.
I bow before the master. The real key is when the business comes.
You just get all the conferences to come to
The
Utah.
conferences come to you, right? The secret of advice success is when the clients just call you. You don't have to do any
That's right.
any
This is one
prospecting.
one
Yeah,
time Garrett Financial Network. I think it is. It would be so fun.
you are in the promised land, my friend.
Yeah.
So I wanted to chat today, uh, like this wonderful question that had come in from an advisor, and I'm intrigued by it. It's kind of a
Wait,
marketing
wait, wait, wait,
process.
wait, wait, wait. Hold on. Are you still working that advisor thing?
Oh, absolutely. If you are
Okay.
an advice-centric business, you are an advisor.
Nice,
Like,
nice.
yes.
I just didn't want to let that just slide right by. It was
No,
just
no, like we're
rolled
making
off
this
your
a
tongue.
we're making this a word. I mean, I won't be done until I get the official Merriam-Webster acknowledgement that this is a word, which is probably
Yeah.
many, many years off. But
Yeah.
yes, if you
Okay.
really
Okay.
are
Keep
in the
going.
business of giving advice, you are not an advisor. That term has been co-opted by too many people that do not advise things. You are an advisor. This
Okay.
is
All
the
right.
word.
Keep
This is the
going.
word now.
Keep going. Love it.
So we got outreach from one of our advisors around I just a kind of a sales marketing question. I'll cue it up for you in a moment. And I was curious to have this conversation with you because I think we will handle and respond to this situation differently, which always makes for interesting conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the message that we got. So it kind of starts out saying, look, like you all have talked about these situations where, if you're working with a client and they don't implement, the implication is maybe you missed something in the meeting and didn't ask the right
Mm.
questions, right? Not to be like negative on us advisors, but it's like, hey, let's own the
Actually
account.
empowering,
Yeah,
right?
like
Like kind
let's
of
own the
empowering.
accountability
Yeah.
here for a moment. Like, okay, maybe there was something we could have done differently. Let's look back and reflect on that. And very practically, like if the advice really truly is absolutely perfect for their circumstances and achieves all their goals, why wouldn't they say yes? Like
Mm.
there has to be something else going on that they would not say yes. So we've covered this in the past in a episode about giving clients advice and they don't act on your recommendations. There's a similar theme out there if like you're sitting across from a prospect and like you've made it clear that you provide all this value that seems to be aligned to what they said, and then they don't say yes, and you're in one of those moments. So we got the question we got is about one of those moments and like what do you do when you get the soft no? And so I'm actually going to share the
Mm.
email that he shared with us. I think it's just it's interesting. Some folks are like, here, this is you go through and like groan a little because most of us have been there,
Right.
some
Right.
version of this.
Right.
So, um, it came in as a referral. They're paying. I'm just going to say a big firm advisor. Choose your big firm enemy of choice. They're paying a big firm advisor for what's basically asset allocation and nothing else. We're like almost the same price, and we do full planning. And they'd already said they weren't thrilled with the big firm. So he's had the meeting with the prospect, and this is the follow up email that he gets. Thank you so much for taking time to review our situation. The personal touch and attention are very appealing and clearly why you are so successful. After some reflection, You feel it coming already now.
Yeah. Yeah.
After some reflection, we feel like we need to give our current team a chance to meet our advising needs. We are happy with the breadth of portfolio options that are available through us through Big Firm. We would like to keep the door open with you in the future if we do not see the responsiveness we're looking for from our current advisor. Again, thank you for your careful consideration and review of our financial values, and know we appreciated it.
Wow.
It's like a knife in the heart at the end, isn't it? Where they just go out of their
Yeah.
way and say, like, thank you so much for understanding our values and know how
Yeah.
much we appreciate it. Not so much that we'll hire you or anything, but we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like
Yeah.
twisting the knife once it's in there. So the very practical question from our advisor friend is, so what do you do when you when that's the email that you get?
Yeah.
So thoughts.
Yeah. That's really fun. I mean, to hear those kind of emails just because you reflect back on the ones that, we've all gotten those. Well, I think this is in my mind, this feels like a very specific situation. And I think
So maybe
my
there's some
first,
specific stuff and general stuff.
well, yeah, just like I think there are plenty of times where it's clear you missed something. But in this case, I'm a little bit interested in the idea of like, what if you just believe them? Like, what does the email say? You know what I mean? Like, I love all the stories we always build. It must have been that, it must have been this. If I could just, what if you're just like, no, wait, the facts on the ground, as far as you're aware, is this email. And I can't think of anything I would say other than uh, believing them and saying, hey, this is the way we treat all of our clients. And to be honest, people who are exploring being our clients. And please know we're always here for you. And if you don't, if it's helpful, I'll if I see anything that's useful to your situation, I'll make sure to pass it your way. Like, I guess where I'm trying to go with this is I would be generous in the assumptions. I'd be generous to me, the advisor. I'd be generous to myself as the advisor in the assumptions that I try to make in this case, because all I have is an email. Because here's the other thing you do, like, hey, did I miss something? I don't get it. Let's talk. Like, and all of that feels
Yep.
slightly vendory, slightly desperate,
Yep.
slightly like a vendor. It doesn't feel like an expert. I think an expert would say, um, hopefully that was helpful. In fact, I'd almost be tempted to maybe even go further and say, I hope that was helpful. I actually have had some thoughts since we last met. And I want to just pass them on, whether you implement them with us or with your current situation. We just want to make sure that your family is in a good financial situation. Here's three things I saw that it might be on the top of your list to address. Like, and I would be tempted to be like strength, SWOT, like strength, weakness, opportunity, maybe even a threat. I would just be like, it's clear you've done this. Here's a couple of areas I could see in terms of improvement, and you could take this route and this route and this route. And again, I wouldn't go so detailed that they could just do. Actually, I would. It wouldn't even matter
Hmm.
at this point. And then just say, and in the future, you or anybody you can think of that needs our help, anybody you think of that would be a good fit, you know where to find me. That's where I'd be tempted. I'm so curious to see, is that right? Or sorry, not right or wrong. Is that the same or different than what you were going to reply with?
Yeah, I this part I'm actually pretty similar to you in that I just to me that and to me this is not one where I hear that or I read that and I'm thinking like darn it, like gloves on. I'm still fighting for this one. Like I'm not knocked out yet. I'm getting up again. We're still going. Like it's a lovely positive email. They're speaking very positively about us. As I think you said well, like I'm willing to take it at face value that I mean, I hear two things. We're not actually ready to fire our current advisor, and we're going to be judging this going forward by responsiveness. Right? We would like to
Right.
still keep the door open in the future if we do not see the responsiveness we are looking for from our current team.
Yeah,
So,
here, in fact, can I interrupt? Yeah, I want to update I would actually start treating them like they were clients without telling
that
them.
that's
You know
where
what I mean?
that's where I
Yeah.
was going. Like, so I see this, I mean, practically, you know, I mean, my response is going to be something to the effect of, respect your decision for where you are. Yes, absolutely, we can keep the door open. Would love to work with you if the time is right. If it's okay with you, I'd love to actually add you to our firm's newsletter list so you can see a little bit of the information that we're sharing with our clients in case it's useful to you.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
basically, I'm trying to show them responsiveness in what we do. And
Yep.
then I would be putting hopefully they'll say yes. And either way, I would be putting a tickler out there that the next time something interesting happens, I don't know if they had some kind of tax related thing, I'm like, cool. I'm gonna grab an article on the new tax law. I'm gonna send it to them. Just say like, hey,
Yeah.
saw this. Remembered we were talking about this tax strategy. Sending this along to you. Just thought you might be interested because it pertains to your situation. Next time markets get volatile, I'm gonna forward them
Yep.
what
Yep.
our company newsletter or webinar, like whatever we're doing to reach out to our clients when markets get volatile and a little scary, is say like, hey, just want to let you know we wrote this for our clients. If you're still feeling any anxiety, thought it might be helpful. Hey, we're doing
Exactly.
this webinar next week. It's for our clients, but if you're interested, you're
We'll
welcome to
make
join
room
us
for
as
you.
well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even like, Ed, if you want to work with us, come work with us.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm just gonna
None of
leave it
that.
out there
No. No.
because I'm gonna send that, and I'm pretty sure they're not very responsive advisors going to continue to be not responsive because objects at rest tend to stay at rest.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm going to out responsiveness the other advisor because they've already told me the other advisor isn't good at it, and I've already checked the boxes for the rest. So I'm just going to show what responsiveness and proactivity looks like. And they're not a full client, so I'm not doing full on planning work for them, but I don't need to. Like, here's an article you would find interesting. Here's some commentary about the market volatility that might be helpful. Here's a thing we're doing for our clients so you can see the cool things we do for your clients. So I'm betting your advisor has done nothing like this. Come join us if you want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just wait for, I don't know, I'm gonna guess 9 to 18 months of them seeing one of those every 3 to 6 months whenever I find an opportunity to do something. I wouldn't do anything more often than quarterly or I'm pestering.
Yeah. I think
And
all they did was move up on my scale of warmth in terms of my list of prospects.
yeah.
And they just moved up a little bit. They didn't move down. And I would do the
Yeah.
exact same thing. And I wouldn't make any mention of, like you said, I wouldn't make any mention of other advisor working with us. It would just be like, I'm
Yeah.
going to treat you. If I send something,
I mean that
quarterly to clients, I'd send it to them. I'd make it customized. If I knew their portfolio now, like I would be like,
yeah.
oh, I ran across a piece of news about GE. Just thought this would
Hey,
be
if you still
helpful.
got the GE stock, like
Yeah,
thought this might be
whatever.
interesting for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Or diversification and why you do it. Like anyway, I just think
Yeah.
that's exactly right. They just moved up.
Yeah.
And let's just counter that though with let's create a situation where the answer is you did miss something. So because here's where I'm
But
trying to go ahead.
when I say that vein, like, because I want to come back to that too. Like, I do think there's something that got missed here. Now, it's not easy to fix now because it was a miss. So I think of this more in the vein of lessons learned to change how we do this for other prospects in the future. Not can I necessarily save this prospect or at least the issue
Mm,
on this
mm.
prospect, but the other thing that I see in this response was we weren't actually ready to break up with our current advisor. Like we weren't we
Yeah,
weren't ready. So how did you find your current advisor? Like, oh, it's my brother-in-law. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna
Yeah,
bet that's
yeah.
awkward to fire him. So,
Sure. That's
like,
actually the first thought I had is this guy's his brother-in-law or the next door neighbor.
yeah, but I
Yeah,
mean that, right? So, I mean, one
yeah.
of the questions, I mean, questions that came into my prospect process after a couple of years of not having this exact situation, but similar situations. Like number
Hmm.
one, just have you ever worked with an advisor before?
Yep.
Tell me what that relationship was like, because most people say yes. I'm like, have you ever worked with an advisor before? Yes. Oh, tell me what that relationship was like. Well, he was my buddy in college, and he gave us all of our life insurance. I'm like, okay, got it.
Right.
I'm going to be
Right.
a little bit different than that. I'll find a nice way to say it. But
Yeah.
have you ever worked with an advisor? Uh, what was that relationship like? Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you get a little further, like what did you like? What do you like most about it? What's the most frustrating for you about it? Because they're basically going to tell me exactly what they value in an advisor relationship and what aggravates them in the advisor relationship. And if it doesn't come up through that process, would often ask like, how did you find your current advisor? If they say yes, I have one, and we're working with one, like, how did you find that current advisor? Because now I really want to know, like, do you go off referrals? Do you go off of internet searches? Is it
Hmm.
your brother-in-law?
Hmm. Yep. Yep.
Oh, we found him last year and we're already out is very different. Like, oh yeah, we found him like 20 years ago. He's been with us for a long time. So like, oh, so
Yeah.
why are you leaving now? So like, are you comfortable making a change?
I love, by the
There
way,
were
I
a few
just,
folks where I basically asked, like, are
yeah.
you actually ready to break up with the current advisor relationship? Like, sounds like you've been with him for a long time. That's got to be really hard to
Yeah.
go to him after all these years and say it's no longer a fit. Like, are you actually ready to do that? And I would
Are you
challenge,
okay? Yeah.
sort of like playfully challenge prospects sometimes a version of that. Are you actually ready to do that? Because sometimes they're really either they're really not, or they haven't processed that, or it hadn't actually registered. Like, oh God, I just had a good meeting with you, but if I say yes, like I'm gonna have to go back and fire Tommy. I've been working with Tommy forever. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
I'm ready to fire Tommy. So either
Yeah.
I'm trying to find that out at the end of basically end of first meeting if it's going well. If it's not, I don't really need to open this door with them. But
Right.
at the end of the first meeting, if it's going well, and trying to understand, is this going to be a blocking point
I,
to
I,
to
yeah, I think that's important. I love that because I was actually really surprised at how often, back in the day, right, when the ACAP paperwork got or the transfer paperwork got signed, how there was, and I was surprised at this, how often this would come up of like, oh, wait, how does this work? Like, I'm feeling kind of bad. And I was surprised at how often somebody wanted to talk through that. Like, should I feel bad? Is this when I would have to explain, like, well, of course, they're like, people might take this a little bit personally, but at the end of the day, there's a whole system for this. Like, you can say as little or as much as you want. Sometimes people don't say a word. Sometimes people write a note. Sometimes people make a phone call. All of those are okay. But I was often surprised at how often people sort of wanted coaching around that process. So I think that's a great question, just of like, oh, it's your brother-in-law. That's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be awkward. And I wouldn't say it that way, but that idea of like, let's talk about it is smart.
one.
Smart.
And I mean, to take out one step further, I'll admit that not my process, but I do know some advisors that have done this that will take, particularly if they are just in a space where they have a lot of competitive situations, pulling people away from existing advisors. They actually make like a templated letter to
Mm.
give the prospect to give their former advisor, right? Dear Bob, like, thank you so much for the years of your service, but we're reaching out to letting you know that we've decided to work with another advisor going forward. You will be seeing transfer paperwork coming shortly.
Hmm.
Please cooperate with the transfer paperwork and my new advisor, Michael, if he calls and asks any questions. Thank you so
Wow.
much.
Wow. Super
And
interesting.
I'm sure they have a slightly more eloquent way of
Yeah.
putting it than that. But like not terribly long because no one really wants to draw this out. Breakup letters can be relatively short. Uh, but for that subset of folks, you're like, yeah, I don't know if I'm really ready to break up Bob, and would say like,
Breakup
would it
Bob.
be would it be helpful if we gave you just a simple template letter that
Yeah,
you that
yeah,
that you can
even to
use?
the
Right? Like I'm
degree.
not pushing on you. This isn't the like, well, let me push across the table. You like sign here to fire them.
No,
But if you're having this conversation, like, hey, it seems like we're doing really well. Are you actually really ready to break up with Bob, your current advisor?
breakup Bob.
You've been talking about how long you've been working with him. We're really helpful to we're excited to work with you on the new thing, but it sounds like that may be a little bit difficult for you to separate. Would it be helpful if we gave you just a really simple, kind template of a letter that you could send Bob to make that a little, would that make it easier for you?
Yeah. Even to the degree of just like, hey, you know what? Don't, let me just tell you right now, you're not alone, right? This has come up before. In fact,
Yeah.
we put together some template language that we can just send you and you can cut and paste it and adjust as you want in an email. Like just that simple of like, you're not alone. This is a normal thing to
Yeah.
break up with Bob because we always have break up Bob for sure.
Or
Yeah, that's
Bob.
really
Sorry,
interesting.
sorry to all the Roberts who are listening.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like, I mean, the other thing that's clear, like just to be like really direct, is change only happens when the pain of staying the same is lower than the pain of changing, right? Like the pain of staying change only happens when the pain of staying the same is higher than the
Higher.
pain of
Yeah,
change. Yeah. And so it was clear like maybe the main issue wasn't uncovered, right? Like maybe you got close because the letter was so nice but maybe the main issue wasn't. But at this point, you don't, and it's not like you could have done something different, maybe even. It's just you don't have a chance to say, hey, and what I want in advisors' bones, like what I want you to feel is like, oh, if they only knew, right? Like if they only knew how great it was, this they would have never sent this letter.
yeah,
And so the way to help them at this point to know how great it is just show them.
yeah,
Just show them.
yeah. Again, to me, they've given you the roadmap. Like they want to give their team a chance, and they're judging by responsiveness. So
Yeah,
I'm just gonna proactively out responsive the current advisor because I'm gonna bet they're not doing a terribly good job because they already came to my office once. Like clearly, this prospect is at least on the fence. So I'm just gonna show them what it's like
totally.
when
No, I love
you
that.
when you work with the firm. And to me, like situations like this, I don't know, maybe this is just my my style mindset around rejection. I mean, it is a version. I don't get something like this and go, darn it, I got to figure out how to fight for this one. I'm not ready to lose yet. I'm like, okay, you stage your preference. I'm gonna drip and move on. But I'm gonna drip and move on, and I'm gonna take a moment to reflect to say, are there questions that maybe I missed, right? Getting all the way back to the did I not ask enough good questions? Like, are there any questions that maybe I did miss? And it's not to save me on this one. This one's done. Journey's happened.
Hmm.
I'll drip my responsiveness and see if I win them back. Every single one of these, though, is a chance to revisit the process, the steps, the list of questions, the conversations I have in prospect meetings to say, maybe I need to do this differently in the future. What's a question or two that I'm going to figure out now so that I can trot out the next time that I do this, right? I only started asking questions like, have you ever worked with an advisor for and tell me about that relationship? Because I had bad scenarios where I got rejected and missed because there was something there that I didn't uncover. And after reflection, that now became one of the questions that come out. Not necessarily every time, but just find over time, like you build your repertoire of questions that you can pull out and use when certain circumstances start unfolding. I'm not going to do the whole like, so are you really ready to break up with your current advisor? But if we have some conversation, you tell me like it's your brother-in-law and you've been working together for 15 years, I'm going to pull out some version of that conversation
Yeah.
because it's the elephant in the room at that point, and it is the most straightforward way for me to lose the prospect if it's otherwise going so well. So I may as well have the conversation here because it's not going to get better if I don't have it.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is one I would just count as a positive. This was not a negative thing. This was just it moved up one notch in
Yeah.
my warmth scale on my prospect list. And I do think like if you wanted to practice, you could as part of your generosity campaign and responsiveness campaign, you could say it totally respect your feelings. Just to make your financial lives better, whatever. Like here's a recap of our meeting,
Yeah.
right? Here's what thought I heard you say. And you could say in there, of course, if I missed anything, make sure to let me know. Right. But I don't even know that that's necessary. But if you just did it as part of your generosity campaign of like, here's what I heard was important to you. Here's your major concerns. Here's two or three things you might want to focus on. And I wouldn't to add a counterpoint. I don't even know that I would ask them to add them to my newsletter. What I would do is send a customized version of it, every whenever I thought like, so this is like customized to you,
Okay.
like distilled a little. I remember when I had a client say to me, a prospective, no, it was a client. His name was Terry. I was like, hey, we're doing a client appreciation event. We're going to have a tax guy come and blah, 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 blah. It's going to be really great. And he replied, he was an anesthesiologist and no, he's a radiologist and he was super direct.
Okay.
Um, he's the one that told me when I said, how often would you hear from me in an ideal world? He
Oh,
said, well, in an ideal world, never.
never.
Yeah. So and
Uh-huh.
when I asked him like if he wanted to come to the event, he goes, I have an idea. Rather than me driving an hour, finding a place to park, attending an hour and a half thing, and then driving an hour home, why don't you send me the 5 minute summary that's applicable to my situation? And I was like, that's smart. Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, he's like, I don't need to hear what's applicable. Like,
No.
just so I would take the same approach with this client. I would just be like, I'm just going to send you things I think of that would be applicable to your situation on a regular basis. Terry's pretty mean. Like,
I'm just envisioning and now you would just do a seminar to an empty room with a microphone and have
and
an
then cut
AI
it off.
summary go out to all of your clients.
There's only take every bit of this. Yeah, like take all my podcast episodes and only send the things that are actually applicable to their situation. You know their situation. Please cut it up into snippets. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's amazing, Michael. Super fun.
Awesome. Thank you, Carl. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers.